Hello and welcome back to Cinematic Universe, everyone. My name is Ernesto Martinez. Joining me, as always, is Damon Hawk for a new Supergirl review this week. How are you, man?
I'm good.
All right, our latest episode is called Strange Visitor from Another Planet. And if it wasn't satisfying enough for last episode, for us to see Kara and John Jones flying in the air, we don't get one, we don't get two, we don't even get three. We get a whole lot of Martian this week. That's right, Marvin the Martian enters the Supergirl universe. I was not expecting it. I thought it was a crazy idea to have a cartoon character introduced into the show, but they did it and they made it, work. And I guess Damon doesn't get the joke if he's just stark silent.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe we watched different.
I needed to make a Marvin the Martian joke at some point.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I can deal with that, Earthling.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess too much Kryptonian was obstructing his view from Venus. But yeah, White Martians have landed on Earth, man. What did you think of this episode?
Oh my gosh, this episode was by far the most satisfying episode of the series to date for me. I loved everything about it. Um, they didn't throw a whole bunch of ridiculous lovey-dovey stuff at us. I mean, all of this stuff with Kat's son was, it was short and it was sweet and it wasn't ridiculous and it wasn't googly. It made sense and I liked it. The stuff with Kat was good. She was kind of reserved. We're starting to see a different side of her. I loved the White Martian stuff. I thought it was great. I think they're starting to hit their stride. I hope that this wasn't a fluke, but it feels like they know where they're going now.
Oh, yes, they do. And we got White Martians, man.
I know.
The first time I saw Martians, I mean the White Martians, was when Cartoon Network and the Bruce Timm team did the 3-episode pilot for the Justice League series.
Yeah.
And, in this episode and what we saw in that show years ago, the tone is still there. The White Martians aren't, good guys. These are evil sons of bitches. And I loved every single moment. I mean, the first moment that we see the White Martian attack Senator Miranda Crane, who, when she's introduced, she's basically, anti-alien, and that's her entire campaign as a senator. And I'll be honest, the first time she appeared, I felt that the entirety of the character was created solely by the White Martian just to, I guess, draw out John Jones, and that the identity and the persona that is the senator is just a conjured alter ego by the White Martian. But it turns out that that is an actual person, which kind of disappointed me a bit because it felt like, man, you had an opportunity here to make this a fake, person.
Yeah. I did have one gripe.
Okay.
Um, the whole thing is that the White Martian grabs her, takes her down into the parking garage or whatever, and pulls a switcheroo and makes it look like she's just been abandoned, when in actuality the White Martian is the one who ends up going back to the DEO with all of them. And in reality, she has stashed the senator in a little lair type area. But how did they have time to do it? Was there more than one White Martian?
I see where you're getting at. Like, the switcheroo felt a little too, couldn't have been that fast, or...
Yeah, that was really, really quick. I mean, Supergirl's right after them. So how was there time to do that?
I guess plot hole, just to move the plot forward.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that there's more than one White Martian.
Probably. I mean, at the end of the show, she pretty much says, there are hundreds, thousands of us, and we will come for you. So, I have a prediction. So,
Everybody pay attention. These are usually spot on.
Usually. I'm still waiting for Dean Cain to be Cyborg Superman. I have a prediction that by the end of the show, the big overarching, I guess, blockbuster moment in the season will be the invasion of the White Martians. And you're going to see the Kryptonians team up. All the Kryptonians and all the other aliens who escaped from Fort Roswell team up and have a common interest.
That's cool. I like that idea, except that it involves the Kryptonians, who I have very little interest in ever seeing again.
And I can understand why. But I'm just saying I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility because, considering this whole show is dealing with family dynamics and the fact that the Kryptonians have pretty much proclaimed that they want Earth to be theirs and take everything else, mutual agreement. Why not? Go for it.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. I just haven't been enthralled by very much of the Fort Ross crew.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to find out that the far more intriguing prospect is dealing with the White Martians. Now, of course, they can only hold on to that for so long before it's not interesting or not compelling anymore, but right now, it's compelling as shit, man.
Yeah.
I just very, very happy right now.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think we even need Supergirl. We can just keep going with John Jones on his journey.
Yeah, but I want Supergirl.
Of course. I'm just saying that it gets to a point where just like, okay, guys, make up your mind. Are we going to follow Supergirl? Are we going to follow John? Because really, John is getting the most, heavy-handed family drama here.
Yeah, he's getting some good stuff.
And I love it. I love that he's getting this much exposure. I mean, I don't see people watching it going out of their way to pick up a comic of Martian Manhunter immediately. But good Lord, they should.
Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. My big question is, who else are we going to run across?
Well, we have Bizarro Supergirl coming up next week.
Yep. And we've already had Red Tornado. I mean, I hope that eventually we get him as an ally.
Yeah, and far less Power Ranger-ish.
I don't care about that. If it's done well, I don't know, the appearance won't matter as much to me initially. It might be one of those things that kind of changes a little bit over time, and I'm cool with that. I want some John Smith,
Yeah. I totally hear you. It's just like every time I see him, at least the first thing that pops up to mind is like, Rangers, go! So...
I'm so glad I never got into that fan base. I don't even catch the references that most people make.
The only reference that you'll probably be hearing until May is Ivan Ooze Apocalypse. That's all you'll be catching.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. I don't see it.
Yeah, it's, Anywho, but yeah, that's a good question. Who else are we going to run into?
Yeah, I mean, Martian Manhunter was, not even on my radar. I mean, even when you said it, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool, but there's no way it would ever happen. But the fact that happened is still blowing my mind. And I started thinking about, when CW started doing Arrow, and they were told that they couldn't use Ted Cord, and they had to use Ray Palmer instead. I'm still wondering what the reasoning is behind that. Who are they allowed to use? Who are they not allowed to use? I mean, is it different for NBC or CBS or AB? I mean, whoever has one of these shows. I wish there was some way that we could take a look and see who's off the table and who is actually fair game. I find it very interesting that Martian Manhunter was fair game, but the movies don't seem terribly interested in utilizing him, so I'm glad he's somewhere.
Well, I mean, so far we only have a 10-film slate coming up.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen beyond that. And for all we know, Martian Manhunter is probably mandated to be used just so that people can, refamiliarize themselves with the character so they can use them in the movie sometime in the future.
Right.
But that's me wishful thinking, because I would kill for a live-action Martian Manhunter movie in itself.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, with the things that you can do in motion capture these days, it's golden opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would totally campaign for Carl Lumbly to come back as a character.
Yeah, he'd be great. Although I'm really enjoying the guy they've got playing John now, even though he's supposed to be somebody else. I mean, he pulls it off, man.
I know, yeah, and he does. I'm just saying that, preference-wise, get Carl Lumbly back.
Yeah.
And mostly because that's pretty much the John Jones I grew up with. And the same thing with Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman, and Tim DeLay as Superman, and what was his name? The guy who played Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Oh, Michael Rosenbaum
as the Flash. You know
what's interesting? The George Miller Justice League movie. Do you know who was supposed to be Martian Manhunter in that?
Who?
Immortan Joe, buddy.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you think about his voice, it actually could have worked quite well.
Yeah, I'm having a really wow. I'm just trying to imagine him as a Martian Manhunter. That would have been a field day in the makeup department.
Well, I mean, I think the majority of it probably would have been motion capture or something like that.
I know, but just designing his look to match the computer-generated design, that's something.
Yeah, they'd figure it out. George Miller would figure it out.
Oh, of course, and he's shown that he can figure anything out, even at his old age.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I thought great episode. We got minimal Lucy Lane, which I'm okay with. We got some good stuff from Jimmy. Winn was standoffish, although it looked like they were kind of coming to a place where they could deal with each other.
Yeah, until he finds out that Kara's got a new boo.
Who knows? Maybe that'll make it easier. And the fact that it's not Jimmy Olsen, gives him somebody to confide in. Although hopefully they do that off screen, so I don't have to listen to Lovesick Winn.
Yeah.
Although he's been a lot more compelling lately too. So I don't know. I just think all in all, this may be the turning point where I'm actually really looking forward to watching the episode rather than watching out of a sense of obligation. And that makes me happy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can agree. Great episode. One of the better ones. Actually, I think, if I remember correctly, I think I said that my favorite episode previously was when Supergirl went and fought Red Tornado, and that's when she let out all her emotions, And
yeah, that was good too.
And Melissa Benoist showed that how much of a great actress she is to handle that kind of drama and emotion. Really, this one really goes up there, I guess, so far for this season in the top 5 category, just for the simple fact that CBS took a chance to actually allow the writers to expand on the mythology that is Martian Manhunter. Yes, we're expanding the mythology of Supergirl as best as they can, but man, when you throw that curveball and Martian Manhunter pops in, you're like, man, I hope these guys don't drop the ball. And so far they haven't.
Yep. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. One last thing I'll bring up before we wrap this up. I looked at our review of the Toyman episode, and we got a comment. And in that comment, I think it was related to what our thoughts were on John Jones and how his power set is being used in the show. How you and I are pretty much used to a character who can pretty much access all minds at once and not have that much of a problem like he did in that previous episode. And the person was saying, why the hell do you guys want John Jones to be so powerful? And stuff like that. So he was like asking us what our problem was with him being depowered the way he was, and why we were requesting for the character to be all powerful.
I don't really think that we were wanting him to be all powerful. Just, I guess, kind of looking at it from a perspective of the things that we know from the established mythology that we have from the books that he can do, and wondering if that's going to assert itself. Why it was so difficult for him to get into this guy's mind without breaking his mind. Now, again, this is the TV show. This is a new mythology for the character. Ideally, for me, what we would eventually be looking at is a situation where they're not calling Kara to say, hey, we need your help with this, or she's not getting a page or a text or something like that. She has Jean's voice in her mind saying, Kara, we need you. They also seem to be kind of having him deal with his guilt over even being on Earth, and the fact that Kara and Alex lost their father because of him. So he's not able to live up to his full potential because he won't allow himself to.
All right. And I can see that. I mean, like you said, it's the TV version of the character. They're reconstructing him from the ground up based on what's already been established. And since not many people really know the character outside of you and me, and anybody who grew up watching the Justice League cartoons, a fresh new take. And that's okay. But like you said, we're so used to the character being able to access multiple minds with ease without having to worry about damaging the person that he's, going through. It kind of took us a little aback. And
yeah, I mean, we're not looking to make this character all powerful. I don't know if we led you to believe that that's what we're looking for. It's not. We are just excited as balls that we are seeing this guy in live action, and we want him to be all that we want John Jones to be all that he can be.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we want for every single episode, for every episode to be as best as it can. Yep. Yes, it's CBS, so pretty much every episode is going to be procedural. Here's your villain of the week, resolve it, move on to the next one. We get that. We just hope that the episode is, enjoyable at the very least. I mean, it would be amazing if we get a Daredevil, Flash, Jessica Jones style arc in this show, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, really, as long as Melissa Benoist continues to do the great work that she's doing, as long as the writers allow her and the actor who's playing John Jones continue to expand on what it's already being built, what more can we ask for? I mean, I know when I said that my prediction probably is going to be like a Kryptonian slash Earth slash White Martian invasion war by the end of the season might happen. Am I going to say, well, you better have Superman in the show because they've been teasing that for a long while? I'll take what I can get at this point, and I'll continue with my predictions of what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah, and we're always going to want more. Always.
Always. I mean, on the topic of wanting more, I really hope Supergirl gets a good amount of seasons in the future. I mean, 5 seasons would be great and an achievement on its own. So I really hope for the best for this show, week in, week out.
Agreed.
All right, and that's our review of this episode of pretty much the White Martian invasion, which kind of reminds me of the Skrulls for a reason, but anywho. Hey, quick question. Who would win in a fight, a Skrull or a White Martian?
I don't know, man. The White Martians are fairly vicious and fairly ruthless, but the Skrulls can be as well. The Skrulls seem to not be as independent. They seem to function more as a unit. So I think if it was one Skrull and one White Martian, the White Martian would probably run away with it. But if it was a group versus a group, the Skrulls might actually have a chance, especially if we're looking at like a Super Skrull situation. Those guys are badasses.
All right. And there's our little Marvel versus DC moment, guys.
Yay!
Tune in next week. As always, my name is Russell Martinez. Damon Hawk, as always. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.